Once again, my name is Mike. I was born October 25th, 1970. Um, let's see here. I was born 2 months premature. 36 hours after I was born, my lungs collapsed. And they had to put tubes in my chest in order to reinflate my lungs. So I know God is real. I know that I was a miracle baby, a miracle child, as they would say. And then, of course, shortly after that, my parents, I guess, were separated at the time because my dad was in California. He was in the Navy. And my mom had me in Texas. And supposedly, somehow, a truck backed over my head. The only thing I know for sure is that the hospital in Texas called my dad and told him, said, look, your son's been backed over by a truck. He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it through the night. 2 weeks later, my mom shows up on his doorstep with me, and my dad said he could still see the stitches on my face. So do I believe in God as far as miracle-wise? Yes. Shortly thereafter, my parents got divorced. I guess I was about 3 years old. One of the earliest memories I have was when I was 4. My dad had remarried to my stepmom, Rosita, and my mom had remarried, and I was with my dad at the time, and she came and got me and took me to Hawaii. From that point till the age of 13, I did not see my dad. My mom basically moved a lot after that. I remember we went to Hawaii, and then from there we went to Salem, Oregon. From there we made a long trip to New Hampshire, went to Maine, went back to Coos Bay, Oregon to Washington to Utah, pretty much all over the place. We had moved so much, as a matter of fact, that the state of Oregon would send child support checks back to my dad. That's how much we moved, and have a lot of memories, like being in Ogden, Utah, living in a car in a park. The only clothes I had basically was clothes on my back. Okay, so a lot of drama, a lot of trials and tribulations during that time. As I got older, that thought about the miracle, being a miracle baby. If you think about it, how did I survive a truck backing over my head? I mean, when I picture it, it's like, man, it's like some kind of horror flick, You see this lump of something with a tread mark on it, I mean, so there had to be something more to what was going on than what I could see. And as I got older, preteen, 11, 12 years old, I actually remember crying myself to sleep, saying, okay, God, I start hearing about God. I was like, okay, God, if you're out there, if you're real, make yourself real to me, show yourself. And my dad had even tried to send private detectives to try to find me, and finally he was able to track down my great-grandmother, Baby, and he in Coos Bay, Oregon. He left his phone number and his address there, and so we had just come back from New Hampshire for the last time. My real mom had finally split with her last husband, and so we ended up there and got the information and called down here to Pensacola, Florida. This is where my dad was finishing up his Navy career, and we came down here and basically stayed. We really didn't have much of a choice because shortly after we came down, my mom once again just disappears. She moved a lot. That's a whole nother story and all that whole testimony. But anyway, so as I began to hear more and more about God, I remember starting my freshman year. I came down here, I started my 8th grade year. My freshman year, I had older stepbrothers that played football, so I got involved in the football and started going to FCA as sort of a social scene, because I knew I had this emptiness inside, and I really wanted something to fill it. And remember listening to Mickey Lindsay, the offensive line coach, talk about Jesus, And I guess about my sophomore year, a buddy of mine invited me to Myrtle Grove Baptist Church, and I remember sitting there, listening to the preacher speak, I'm thinking, man, I'm hearing this voice just saying, this is it. You got this emptiness inside. I'm the one's going to fill it. That's what Jesus was saying. That's what God was saying to me. And Tuesday night, April 26, 1986, Bill Knowles, who was the minister of music, because they didn't have a youth ministry at the time, was out doing visitation. And he came by the house and witnessed to me and said, look, led me through the plan of salvation. Pastor said in the service this morning about the salvation is not an event, it's a process. I believe that it's an event that leads to a process. And that my childhood was a process that led me to that event, which led that to the process of salvation. And it's been a ride ever since. So 1986, April 26th, when I accepted Christ into my life and started that process of salvation.